Hey chiropractors, we're ready for another modern chiropractic marketing show with Dr. Kevin Christie, where we discuss the latest in marketing strategies, content marketing, direct response marketing, and business development with some of the leading experts in the industry.
Hey docs, let's jump into it. It's that time of year, December 2021, and we need to plan our 2022. And there's many things you need to be doing: financial planning, all the fun stuff, maybe tax projections and all that. But today we're going to talk about your marketing planning and really getting clear on that. I take December to really start to put together a strategy for my marketing, and it consists of multiple things. You know, inside the Chiropractic Success Academy, we talk about this. We give a lesson on this. We have the CSA digital dashboard, which accompanies your membership with it, and it's got marketing planners and editorial calendars and indicator scorecard, all the different things you'd want, including practice analytics to where you can see how you're doing with all your stats, from new patient averages for the year, office visit averages, new patient values, PVA, all those things where you can really track to see how you've grown and use that as a measurement of not only growth but potential ROI on marketing. And so we use that for a marketing planning. You can use a spreadsheet. If you have my book, I've got the marketing planner in there, so I recommend revisiting that. I did this podcast probably the year before in December, and so you've heard me talk about marketing planning. And the way I do it at the end of the year, you want to do a full brain dump of things that you know you want to do or that you think you want to do for 2022. And you don't need to do it all in 1 month, right? Like some people get overwhelmed. They do all these things like, oh, I got to get it done right away. You're just putting it out there. And then we will, after we've done a brain dump on a bunch of different topics such as social media and email marketing and direct mail and campaigns, all the different aspects out there, website, there's all kinds of stuff going on that you can do, blogging. When you really get clear on what your plan is within that, then you're going to then want to plan out your quarter, right? And that's where you're going to start to say, okay, January, February, March, in January, we're going to do weekly emails and we're going to start Google ads. Sometimes it's things like weekly emails that's going to repeat January, February, March, going to be the same thing, or 3 Instagram posts a week type of stuff, going to be, the same thing, January, February, March, 1 blog a month, things like that. And then sometimes it's going to be one-off stuff, right? Like, purchase logo t-shirts and give those at an event. That's a one and done type of thing as far as purchasing it. Redo website, right? That's a one and done. So you're going to have some that repeat and some that are one-offs. Okay, so you're going to get clear on that, and that's going to be your Q1. And this is just like overview stuff, right? So you're saying you're going to do weekly emails. You're saying you're going to write a blog. You're going to do community outreach more and MD marketing. You're going to shoot 4 videos a month. I don't need you to get into the details at this point yet, where you're going to give me your, audience persona and content title and content type and dates and all that. That's where we're going to get to in a little bit. For right now, we're planning this out. Right. My January looks like, okay, 1 blog, 4 videos for the month, weekly emails. We're going to connect our Instagram to our Facebook account. We're going to build a Yelp page. We're going to start posting on Google My Business, right? Those types of things. That's what my January looks like. And then February will be some different things. And I just want you to plan out Q1, right? I don't need you to parse out Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So you're really just doing a yearly brain dump on all the things you want to accomplish from a marketing standpoint. And then you're going to tease out Q1 only, right? And so that's what I do. And that's what I recommend you do. And again, if you're a CSA member, you have access to the dashboard. If you're a coaching client of mine, you and I are already doing it together, as you know. If you've bought my book, it's there. You've got plenty of resources to get this done, okay? And then what I'm going to do on top of that is my January editorial calendar. Okay. So I'm not going to worry about the February and March editorial calendar. I'm just going to do the January. And that's where I'm going to take the weekly emails. Again, there's an editorial calendar in the dashboard that I'm looking at right now. And I want you to plan out your 4 emails, right? So email 1 is subject line, whatever, topic this, week it's going to go out, right? And so I want you to give me the details of those 4 emails, right? The audience persona, golfers, content creator, Kevin, editor of content. I'm going to use Grammarly and it's going to be me. The channels this will be published. Obviously it's email. If it was a blog, so your next, you say you're going to write 1 blog per month. I want you to give me the details of the blog. And then the channels that will be published would probably be things like, obviously the website, email, Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, right? So those are the channels you're going to get clear on publishing. If you're a lone wolf, it gets pretty easy. But when you've got a team or you got an internal or external marketing person, it gets even more important to get clear on some of the, who's the editor of the content, who's the content creator, who's in charge of distributing it, who's monitoring the analytics, right, of that. And so with the editorial calendar, you take what you plan for January in the Q1 marketing planner, where it was, again, general, like, okay, weekly emails. I want you to give me the 4 weekly email details. 1 blog, perfect. Okay, the 4 videos you're going to shoot, what are those going to be? The social media posting you're going to plan on doing that might be different than the videos and the blog, because we know those are going to be posts already, so we don't need to write that out again. But maybe you're going to do other types of campaigns for that particular month. And so I want you to write that out on the editorial calendar. I want you to get ahead of it, because one of the biggest things I see, and I actually just had today, just earlier today, one of my 2-hour strategic coach power-ups, they call them. It's one of the coaches going over a topic, and we get into small groups and go over concepts. And this one was all about intentionality. Again, it's at the end of the year. We're trying to set intentions for the year coming up. And one of the things that resonated with me as I knew I was going to record this episode later was not enough chiropractors are intentional about their marketing planning. And that's why when I did write my book and I developed the modern chiropractic marketing roadmap, the first one is the destination, right? You have the destination, you have the GPS, you have the fuel, you have the vehicle. The destination is a lot of your planning, because it's just not enough chiropractors are intentional with their planning of their marketing. And this is what I'm encouraging you to do. And so the editorial calendar is a big part of that, so that when you roll into January, 10 pounds heavier and drunk on eggnog, when you get into January, I want you to have already planned out what it's going to look like, so you can just get it done. You get rid of that roadblock of, what am I going to create? And you got to think about it, and then you procrastinate, and then you don't do it, and then it becomes February, and you know how this game works. So I challenge you to do the editorial calendar, okay? All right, docs, here is a new opportunity for you from Darcy Sullivan of Propel. She is our SEO specialist in helping out many chiropractors with their search engine optimization and making sure Google is finding you and getting you new patients. It's amazing how many new patients chiropractors can get and are getting when they do the SEO right and a few other things. And Darcy is offering a free SEO workshop just for chiropractors, and you can sign up for that at bit.ly/propelmcm. That is bit.ly propelmcm, modern chiropractic marketing, right? And so check out that link, and we're going to have you go over 5 SEO secrets to owning the first page of Google without buying ads. And Darcy's going to give that free workshop, 1 hour, to really help grow your practice and start churning new patients from the ever mighty Google, which is still king in the online marketing. So check that out at bit.ly/propelmcm for the 1 hour free workshop. Next is I do the indicator scorecard, okay? And that's where you do your leading and trailing indicators. And again, this is on the dashboard, and it's in the book as well. So you've got your trailing indicators, which are going to be kind of, okay, what are your new patients per month you're looking at having? How many office visits per month do you want? What's your revenue per month that you're shooting for? How many MD referrals do you want? How many MVA, motor vehicle accidents, do you want? How many Google reviews? Some of those trailing indicators that we know are measures of, people would call them KPIs, right? Key performance indicators. But the problem is people set these KPIs or these trailing indicators, and then they don't really do anything to actually move the needle with that, right? They just set them, and that just means it's a hope and a dream at that point, right? And so then what you need to do is set your leading indicators that are indicative of what you're trying to accomplish, right? So if you tell me you want 5 MD new patients per month, you better also show me some of your leading indicators on how you're going to do that. Like how many meetings per quarter with MDs are you going to have? How many, what's your strategy on contacting MDs and sending case notes and that type of stuff? So like, what is your actual leading indicator plan for MD referrals, right? I remember we did this with the MVAs. We set a lofty goal of 3 per month. This was back in 2018 was bad. We didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot of auto accidents because we're mostly a sports practice. But it just, if we get 3 or 4 a month, it's just insane what it pays, and we do a good job with it, and we do it the right way. We're never going to be a big personal injury clinic, but it's just something that we knew we like working with those patients, and it just was something that would really move the needle. So we set an intention to it. We set a trailing indicator of 3 per month. And then we set a plan with leading indicators to do it, and we accomplished it. And then it fell off the table in 2020 because no one was driving for a while. But then we've been back in 2021, and we're very close to where we wanted to be with that. So that is where you're going to start making your trailing indicators reality, is by setting strategic leading indicators. So make sure you do that. Okay. And that's going to be things again, like how many emails you're sending out, how many blogs, what are you going to do to get the Google reviews? How are you, maybe if office visits need to go up, maybe you're going to have reactivation campaigns. So start setting the indicator scorecard moving into Q1. So I just want you to do the indicator scorecard for Q1. You don't need to do it for the entire year. Okay. So if you have a goal of like getting to 30,000 a month revenue next year at some point, and you're at 20,000 a month right now, you probably don't. I wouldn't necessarily say your trailing indicator for Q1 is 30,000. Maybe it's 25,000, right? Like we'll take it step by step. So if you've set yearly goals, you may have to like work your way into it, and you don't have to, but that's just something to consider. Sometimes we have to be realistic with that. Okay. And then lastly is your marketing budget. I highly encourage you to develop your marketing budget for each month, for the year, and go into that as well. Okay. Again, it's a tool in the dashboard, and it's also a tool in the book if you have that. So those are the 5 things I really want you to work through, okay, to get prepared. This is coming out, and it's going to give you a couple weeks to do that. If it rolls it into a little bit of January, that's okay as well. If you get a late start listening to this episode, okay. All right. So what I want to leave you with is I wrote out some things I want you to ask yourself. And this is what I've been asking myself as I plan out my marketing, right? And so the first one is what can you prune? There's a great book called Necessary Endings, and I think the last name is Cloud. And so he talked about pruning the bush. You prune a rose bush to help it grow more, right? And it's similar to what we need to do in our business sometimes, and it's definitely similar to what we need to do in our content marketing. And so what can you prune out? Like, okay, let's say you developed a marketing plan and you had some intentions for 2021, and just some things start to add up, and you don't need to have all these things. You don't need to keep on piling on more and more and more. And so I want you to look at what can you prune in your marketing that just doesn't need to be done. Okay. And that could be, I don't need to shoot 7 videos a month. I can shoot 4. I need to go through my blog and my website and get rid of some of the old crappy blogs I wrote in 2012. Okay. So just some of the things you can prune off the marketing list. Okay. The next question is, what can you add? What can you add to your marketing in 2022 that you haven't done yet? Or maybe you did in the past and you took it away. Now you need to re-add it. Okay. Next one is what can you improve and what can you enhance, right? Maybe you're shooting your videos, but maybe in your heart's heart, you can get even better at it. And so you can focus on improving or enhancing your video. Okay. So look through all the things you're doing and see what you can improve or enhance. Okay? Next, are there any big ticket items that you need to do, right? Like you really need that new website. You really need the SEO improvements of your website. You really need to do more of a community outreach plan. Okay, so there's quite a few things, but like, what are some of the big ticket items in your marketing? Like, I really need to start shooting videos, or I finally got to start doing that local podcast I've been talking about for 2 years. Okay, so what's any big ticket items you have on that list? Next is, what is the one big domino you think will make the rest fall? Okay, what's the one thing that you is like, if I could really get this done, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like, that's why it's different than the previous question. But what is the big domino for you that you think would really move the needle in your practice growth? Okay. And then lastly, what is something you need to do to grow your practice, but you've just, for whatever reason, you're not doing it. You've been procrastinating on it. I think, I get the luxury of interviewing a lot of people that are doing a lot of things, and we all know chiropractors that are doing great and doing a lot of good stuff and continuing to grow, and they do the things they know they need to do, right? And then there's a lot of chiropractors that just don't. I know everybody's wired differently, but they just don't, and they know that they could do it. And I always reference that 4 C's formula from Strategic Coach, which is you need to make the commitment, which then you need to have the courage, right? And that'll lead to a capability, which will then lead to confidence. Think about when you made the commitment to go to chiropractic school. You had the courage to get through it, right? You then graduated with a capability. And now if you've been practicing long enough, you develop a confidence in that. It's the same thing with anything you do. And so whatever that one thing is that you're just not doing that you should, that would really move the needle, apply that 4 C's principle to it and just get it done. Okay. And that goes to doing the marketing planning for 2022. That could be the one thing that you haven't been doing and you need to do. But I just challenge you to, plan out 2022. As I record this, I know it's hard because I get people that listen to this all over the country and other countries. So, it's definitely international listeners. So it's hard. I'm in a unique situation being in Florida, United States, and this Omicron thing's coming, but we're probably not going to do anything about it down here. So business is strong. I don't see any impact for us down here in 2022. And I think for the most part, a lot of people, that's the scenario. And even if it's a little dicey where you're at on how it's going to be handled, and I don't know if there's going to be shutdowns. I don't think there's going to be shutdowns. But, are people meeting in person, right? Are people going to the chiropractor? For the most part, 2021 was a very good year for many chiropractors. And I don't think we need to use the excuse. It was a legitimate excuse, so I'm not saying it was without merit. But I think we need to go into 2022 full steam ahead, no excuses, community outreach, get people in, marketing, push the envelope, grow, and make sure that 2022 is a growth year for you. I think some years are stabilizing years in a long enough career, and some are growth. Obviously, 2021 was a hold on for dear life year, and for some, 2021 was stabilizing cash flow and all that, and for some it was growth. But I think for the majority of people, 2022 is setting up to be a growth year. So take advantage of it. Have a great end of this year. Be very intentional with your planning and all things for 2022. And I'm excited to continue this ride on the podcast for 2022. I'll be out. I'll be out in different events next year. So if you're there, let's chat. I'm excited to get back out and do some more conferences like I did this year. And here's to a long but short 2021. It seemed like it was 6 months long, but at the same time, sometimes it seems like this pandemic's never going away. But here's to a great 2022.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Modern Chiropractic Marketing Show. Before you leave, make sure you check out our website. We've got blogs and podcasts and all kinds of great info at www.modernchiropracticmarketing.com. We also have a closed Facebook group of the same name where a lot of like-minded chiropractors are workshopping ideas and making sure that we have this continual advancement of marketing, business, mindset, and just growth of your practice. So check us out, modernchiropracticmarketing.com, and the Facebook group of the same name.